halfway through building this beautiful deck. Animations clean, icons aligned, colors perfect. And I just stopped, staring at the screen like, what the hell am I even teaching here? Because if I'm being honest, the session looked good, but it didn't feel good. You know that feeling? When you're making something look sharp, but deep down you're thinking, they're gonna leave the session and remember the transitions. Are you for real right now? Yeah, that moment wrecked me because it hit me. I wasn't designing a learning experience. I was designing a presentation. So I scrapped the whole thing. Whole thing. And I told myself, no more designing to impress. From now on, I design for impact. And that's what this episode is about. If you've ever made a deck that looked great but didn't do anything, let's fix that. This is how I went from flashy slides to sessions people actually talk about afterward. In this episode, we're going deep into ADDIE, the framework that keeps your design grounded, Bloom's Taxonomy for what to aim for, and Instructional Design Principles so you don't leave them guessing. And no, this isn't one of those 5 tips to make training fun kind of videos. This is real stuff. Let's go. But first, let me ask you something. What's the first thing you focus on when you start designing a session? Be honest. Is it the deck? The game? The what's in it for me slide? Because for years, that was me too. Until I learned this one thing. You don't start with what they'll see, you start with what they'll feel. Let me show you what I mean. Let me break down what completely changed the way I build sessions. ADDIE. I know, it sounds like something you'd hear in an e-learning course you half-watched while scrolling Instagram. But hang with me, because when you really use it, it's a game changer. Here's how I think about it. You don't design slides first. You design the pain first. So I literally ask, what are they struggling with right now? Not what I want to teach, what they actually need to fix. Let's say your team keeps missing deadlines. The instinct? Run a time management training. But what if the real problem is lack of clarity or unclear priorities from their leads? That's why analysis isn't optional. It's the thing that saves you from building the wrong thing really well. Here's where the magic starts. After I know the pain, I ask, what's the moment of success I want them to experience? Then I reverse engineer the flow. Content structure, sequence, even the energy in the room. All of it is designed like a story. And yeah, I still use frameworks, but only after I know what they need to do, not just what I want to say. Here's where most people open Canva. Not gonna lie, I do too. But here's the shift. I don't build slides, I build triggers. Triggers for oh my gosh moments. Triggers that make them laugh, reflect, even get uncomfortable. I'll straight up insert a blank slide just to make people pause and think. Because silence is also a tool. You ever designed something that made perfect sense on your laptop, then bombed in real life? Yup, guilty as charged. Implementation isn't just run the session, it's test, adjust, improvise. I literally plan for mess-ups. I bring in extra activity in case one flops, and I keep a timer next to me. Not to rush, but to make sure I'm not talking more than 30%. 70% should be them, doing, reacting, building. Now this isn't about smile sheets. I'm talking real feedback. I ask, did they use this the next day? Did something change? And if not, I tweak every single time. That's ADDIE. It's not a theory, it's a discipline. And when you apply it right, your sessions start to work. So yeah, ADDIE's not sexy, but it's the reason people walk out of my session saying, that was actually useful. And if you're still with me, you're probably not here for the applause. You're here because you actually want your sessions to land, to stick. Good. Now let's go deeper. Let's talk blooms. I used to throw this in like seasoning, sprinkle in some verbs, feel smart, move on. But I was missing the point. This isn't a vocabulary list, it's a ladder. Think of it like this. If your learning outcome starts with understand or know, You're basically saying, hey, I hope they remember this. But what if your goal was apply, analyze, evaluate, create? Let me give you an example. Understand the parts of an email? Meh. Write a professional email using the right tone, structure, and call to action? That's a skill. That's something they can show you. You want outcomes they can perform, not just recite. So every time I write objectives now, I ask, if I were their manager, how would I know they actually learned this? If I can't see it, measure it, or hear it, I scrap it and try again. Bloom's isn't theory, it's precision. It's making sure your session actually delivers something they can use. Now let's zoom out. ADDIE gave us structure. Bloom's gave us aim. Instructional design gives us grip. The principles I swear by? First, relevance over everything. If they don't see themselves in your content, they won't care. I once built a scenario about customer complaints using a bakery. The room was dead. I switched it on the spot to a fast food joint. Boom, instant connection. Why? They've all been there. Designed for their world, not yours. Second, cognitive load. Oh my gosh, this one. You ever been in a session where the slides have like 500 words on them? I follow the 6x6 rule. 6 lines per slide. 6 words per line max, because the slide doesn't teach, you do. And third, practice beats theory. Every 10 to 15 minutes, I stop talking. I get them to apply, write, reflect, do. One time I was running a training on conflict resolution. Instead of explaining it all, I gave them messy, real-world scenarios and just said, what would you say next? The discussion that followed? Gold. Okay, so now you've got structure through ADDIE, clear objectives via Bloom's taxonomy of action verbs, and real-life engagement using basic instructional design concepts. But here's the thing. How do you know it actually worked? That's where Kirkpatrick's levels of evaluation comes in. And if you've never heard of that before, I promise you, you're gonna love what's coming next. If you learned something from this video, hit like, share, comment, and let me know what you'd like me to talk about next. Follow for more.